Dawn Katra here. This is another dream journal. This is a reoccurring dream that part of it actually came true already in my lifetime. I think about 6 years ago. But just a part of it. Not the rest of it by any means. It was pretty weird when that part of it started coming true, or the part that's significant to the dream started coming true. But in the dream, everything's dark, and I'm standing on a mountain foothill facing, let me get my orientation. I know where the dream's taking, that part of the dream is taking place, because I lived there. I grew up there. Let's see. That would be facing northeast. So I'm facing northeast, and I'm overlooking this bridge. No cars on it, brand new. And at the first times I had this dream, there was no bridge there. There was no bridge crossing this area whatsoever. Not even part of it. But brand new bridge, not being used, like an overpass bridge. And I see all these lights, like the highway had been turned into a river and it was reflecting lights from somewhere. And then I look closer, and it's all these people. I mean, just thousands and thousands and thousands of people using the highway, and they're walking. And this is a 4-lane highway. You know, it's not a big highway, but it's still big enough. And there are 2 lanes on this side and 2 lanes on that side. But the people are they're just heading north. Like droves of cattle, or like fish heading upstream to spawn or whatever. You know, that they're just going. And I noticed that the light is that there's a light right in front of them. But their eyes are blank. And, you know, it's like they're going blindly. They're just blindly following whoever is in front of them northward. And I have this, you know, this sinking feeling that they should not be going north. That going north in this time and place that the dream is taking place in, it's not safe to go north. And in the dream, I had come down from further up the Appalachian Trail and the mountains to come south to help in this area. I didn't know until later on in the dream that there were others with me. At this point, it's just me, or it seems like it's just me. Basically just me and God. And you know, I'm wondering why that they're doing that. It doesn't make sense to me. But, it's like a river of people just heading north. And, I don't understand why they're doing that, because, to me, in the stream heading northward in that direction, heading northeast is not safe. And this would be heading northeast on Highway 21, which eventually connects with Highway 431. And this is in Alabama. These people are walking. These thousands and thousands of people, and I'm standing there for a while watching this, and it's like there's no end to them. That they just keep going. And that there are no stars shining in the sky, and there's not a cloud in the sky. And I'm about to call out to them when I noticed a hand on my shoulder and someone saying, "There's no use, they can't hear you." And it's someone that's significant to me. I haven't met them in this time and place yet, but they're almost like my mirror twin, but they're very different. Basically the dusk to my dawn, basically. We're very alike and very different. But they're saying, there's no use. They can't hear you. We've tried. And then I noticed that there are all these others standing behind me, some closer, some not as close, and there are others gathering. It's like we had been, waiting there, that was the meeting point, that we were waiting there for the others so that we could go and do what we were gathering and called to do there, to help. And I feel the Lord's arms around me, giving me a comforting embrace and a kiss to the cheek to remind me that things are fine. He's going to take care of all of it. And I can tell that the others feel his comfort too. And the one that's like my twin, their soulmate, looks around and makes sure that everyone is there. And he looks to me and says, "Well, are you ready? Shall we do this?" And I look at everyone and make sure everyone's there myself. And these people being there, it still weighs on my mind. That they've basically given up. Apparently they've tried yelling and screaming and calling out to them and what have you, and no one responds. And I nod, and we all jump down. It's weird. In the dream, the air is very dense. It's like the atmosphere is closer to the ground in a very healthy way. And as we jump down, it's almost like we're jumping down through air that is part water, and the fall to our feet is no, we're jumping down to the bridge, like it's like 12 to 15 feet jump down, and we have no trouble. And we all seem a lot healthier, but still, limited. We're not like superhuman any more than any of the apostles were. The And it didn't really feel like it had much to do with gravity. There might have been a little bit of a change in gravity, but it was mainly atmospheric. It's like the atmosphere and everything from the ground up, at least in the Appalachians, had been restored to what it was like before the flood, maybe even as close to how it had been in the Garden of Eden. The things were that dense, and the air was that healthy and that nourishing to the lungs and to the skin. But we jump down and we land on this bridge, and I noticed that, someone's carrying my pack. Right, in the dream, I didn't take it as a big deal. But right now, I would take it as a big deal if someone's carrying my pack for me. I would be severely irritated. But all of us have packs, and some of us have, like hiking packs, big hiking packs. And some of us have other packs in front. I still have that one. Apparently they didn't wrangle that one off of me. Doders. Love them anyway. That they're running across the bridge. They're heading. They don't bother stopping to call out to the people, or that you can tell it bothers them that the people are just going and blind and everything. But that they basically, they're trying to keep their mind focused on the mission God had given us at this point. And I stop and I call out, and a few are with me. One I recognize as one of my childhood friends that I haven't seen since elementary school. And the other one is one of my more distant cousins on my dad's side that I haven't seen since they were a child. And since I wasn't much more than a child myself. And I call out, "He's right in front of you. Just look. The light is right in front of you." And the one that is my more distant cousin, they sigh disappointedly and try and get me to go, but the other one, tells me, "No, wait." And we see a few actually leaving, moving off, and I noticed that their eyes, it wasn't like they heard me, but all of a sudden their eyes filled with light, and it was like there was life in them again. It was like they had been consumed by something that made them almost dead, and then all of a sudden that they received the light that was right in front of them, like a little sphere of the Shekinah, God right there with them, and that they had finally received that into themselves, and that they started veering and working their way out and heading east, just east, not northeast anymore, not northeast, just east, off of the road, into a line of trees and bushes. I don't know what was in that line of trees and bushes, because it was, far enough down the road, and that the area that I had grew up in, that this bridge is in, had changed enough that I didn't know, especially not in the dark, because things had gone downhill pretty bad, and that had given not just me but the rest of them hope. And the one that's my childhood friend and I stand there just a little while longer, and we notice that there are just a few, mind you, not hardly at all, that stop mindlessly going, and the flow of people hadn't stopped. That they just keep coming. And in the dream time, this had been at least 30 or 40 minutes, and the people are still going. It's not like they're running or anything. They're just walking methodically forward. But we see some suddenly, basically coming back to life, and some are getting off and heading towards the west, and some are getting off and heading towards the east, but they're getting out of that they're breaking away, and they're in God's hands, but the one that had my childhood friend that had stopped with me, we kind of let each other know, yeah, we need to get going with the rest of them. And the ones that are waiting on us, some of them are carrying some of the stuff we need that we had brought for other people. And we head across this bridge, and then we keep heading on after the bridge ends. And we go to this church, and the lights are out, except for there's the same glow that's in front of the people that had been heading, north by the highway, is in front of each of these people in this church. And, their eyes are full of light, that they're full of God's joy and peace and everything. And they can see and they can hear. And, we get there and we bring them food and water, and other necessities that they had been needing, that they wouldn't have been able to get on their own, or hadn't been getting enough of on their own. And just as, we all give the church their portions of what they need, and we know that we have, other other churches and other households and other people that we need to be distributing this to before we head back to our own particular areas that we're taking care of in the Appalachians. And just as we're about to leave, there's this one girl, pretty young, and she comes rushing and she says, I can't see. And her eyes had gone dim and blank. And she could still hear, but she couldn't see the light in front of her anymore. And that's where the dream ends. But when I first started having these dreams, and this is a big recurring dream for me. That's really stuck with me, and the more I've had the dream, the more detail it's gained. But when I first started having the dream, it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. And the economy in Calhoun County, Alabama, had been, which is where this part of the dream takes place. I've had other dreams in connection with some of the happenings and with all of the people that are in the dream. But in different places that I don't know anything about. I don't know where they are until I end up in that place, like the place I'm living now. But at that time, the economy had been good there, and there had been no bridge there. And there had been no talk of there being a bridge built there. I didn't... I was pretty young and didn't pay any attention to that stuff at that time. But I knew there wasn't a bridge there. It was just the 4-lane highway, and then over to the side is the Emanuel Oriental Market, which was my favorite Oriental market in the area. There's one or two other in the Calhoun County area, but the Oriental Market, the bridge goes, in the dream, the bridge goes all the way over it. But in this point in time and place, it doesn't. I don't know if something happens to the Oriental Market and all the shops that are close to it by the time this dream happens, or if the dream is, parts of it are based in events that will occur and parts of it are based in just spiritual reality, or what. But that bridge is there now. When they started, years later, after I'd been having this dream for years, when they had started building the bridge, it freaked me out. It messed with me very badly. Because, I didn't know what that was going to mean. I didn't know if that meant, this dark, starless future was going to be coming on rapidly, or what. And I had no clue about the passages that had anything to do with as in the days of Noah. By that time, I was, you know, a student of Bible study by then, but, and I had these dreams before I was a believer. Now that I think about it, the first few times I had the dream, I wasn't a believer yet. So I didn't know who the presence, the absolutely wonderfully comforting presence was that had given me the hug and the kiss of comfort and then went away. I had thought that it was someone else, and now I know it was the Lord. It makes more sense now that I know that, because I would wonder why the person was there invisibly and then all of a sudden disappear completely except for their presence. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense except for with it being Abba. Now that I know, but it's just so strange. And now that things are occurring in the world, if people go along with this whole thing of, augmenting themselves to join themselves to a computer, what we saw, what I saw, and whoever else has had this dream, or parts of this dream too, had seen with the people their eyes blank and not being able to see God right in front of them. If they augment themselves to where their mind is downloaded, or they're completely interfaced with a virtual reality, or with something that's basically biohacked them to the point that they have no control over their body. They have to do whatever someone controlling their body makes them do. That would be pretty much exactly what we would be seeing there. If, people wanted them to go north to their doom, they would go north to their doom. If they had no control over their body. If they had no control over their self any longer. And didn't know that they could break away. Didn't know that they could fight back. And with something like that, it's spiritual warfare. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of this dark world, against wickedness and high. So, it's time to, pin those that are doing this down to the mat with God's help lovingly, and avoid their teeth. I don't want to be bit by them, thank you. Or clawed by them. Yeah, keep their hands down too. That I'm sure that a lot of those in the spiritual realm that are against God would be glad to fight dirty if he would let them. But we don't need to be. We need to stick to Abba's rules. The Lord has set up his guidelines and boundaries for not only our safety, but everyone's safety. And, not only our good health and our blessing, but everyone's blessing, even those that scorn and scoff and take his blessings for granted. But, yeah, that dream, it's it's 2018 now. And there were things when I first started having this dream that the dream made no sense. And now as time marches on, bits and pieces of it are making more and more sense. But God only knows the fullness and the wholeness of the nature of the dream, and what parts of it are reality and what parts of it are spiritual reality, and what parts of it can be prevented, and what parts of it may already have been prevented. Yeah, God only knows. But just like in the dream, those few people hearing my voice when God compelled me to call out and cry out when the others had given up. And, even just a few. It couldn't have, while we were standing there, it couldn't have been more than a handful or two that had left the droves of people that were just going mindlessly, or seemingly mindlessly, northwards. One person can make a difference if God is leading them. Well, we don't need to be shy and timid. We need to pray for each other to have godly boldness, as Paul asked others to pray for him. And Ephesians has a lot of meat to it. The book of Ephesians has a lot of meat to it. Yeah, but the Lord strengthen us all for whatever the future holds. I don't, I want to be on that bridge and on that mountain hill and, on the road to helping people and calling out the things of God when He prompts me to call them out, rather than being idle. I know right now my health makes it so that I can't traverse from where I'm living right now all the way back to my hometown. Right? It would probably take me close to a year to walk that now. For me to do it in a way that's healthy, that I won't get sick. Or at least, close to that. Maybe 8 months. When, if I were healthy, it would probably take 2 to 4. Because I'm not, I'm not but a few hours away from there by car. And so, by foot, it wouldn't really take a tremendous amount of time if I was healthier. And I'm getting healthier than I was, but at this point in time, I would not be able to make that trek. Especially not with everything dark. And especially not it. The hiking packs we were carrying in the dreams, they were loaded down. That they had everything that we needed to live on the go until we got back to our respective places where we were staying and doing whatever God had us do in that time and place. I couldn't do that right now. Lord willing, I'll be able to do that one day, but right now, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, you guys, pray about whatever the Lord has given you out of this dream that I've been having for over 20 years now. I've been having it since at least 97 or 98. Over 20 years now. Wow. But God be with you guys. I love you, whether I know you or not. I'm praying for all of you. The Lord strengthen and bless you. His face shine upon you. His truth enlighten you and guide you and strengthen you. Prepare you for whatever He's got for you. Things may be dark and dimming. Things may look like the world's a mess. We used to have the saying, things are going crazy. Now, things are crazy. A lot of sayings that we used to have when I was growing up have needlessly and needfully both had to change because of the state of things. But God is good and God is in control and He's got everything taken care of, even when things are hard and lonely and painful and horrible things are happening to us or those that we know or people that we know and love are turning away from God or acting in ways that they wouldn't normally act, or lots and lots of craziness. But God's got this. He has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And His perfect love casts out all fear. Not just fear, all fear. His love's completely different. And He's got this taken care of. So this is Dawn Catra, loving you from here. Be blessed. And Dawn Catra